So I just saw Man of Steel and This Is the End. I liked them both. Man of Steel was fantastic, and This Is the End. I always enjoy the Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel movies. Anything those guys put out, usually pretty funny. But I noticed Man of Steel got 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that just seems silly to me. It was a fantastic movie. It's not quite as good as the Nolan Batman movies or anything, and I don't think it could ever be taken quite as seriously because it is Superman. Hopefully, maybe one day it could be. But it was just wonderfully put together. Zack Snyder did a great job bringing everything together really nicely and introducing some new elements like the Superman symbol, where that came from, and I really like what he did with that. And This Is the End, it got 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is actually kind of ridiculous. It wasn't like a super good movie or anything. It was fun and it was silly, but at times it was just kind of boring and dumb. Yeah. I still enjoyed it. I don't think it deserved 84%. I think those two numbers need to be switched. Though I looked at IMDb and they both got around 8.1, 8.2 stars, so okay. That makes a bit more sense, I suppose. I can see This Is the End being 8.1 around there, because it is probably one of the better movies from Seth Rogen. And it's very sort of touching, even though it's dumb. But yeah, it was good. I'm going to talk more about Man of Steel, because I'm more interested in that. I really like the DC superheroes. I always have, and when I was young I actually favored them over the Marvel superheroes, though I do love them both a lot now, probably because Marvel has been so successful making even the older Spider-Man movies, and all these awesome new ones, of course. But this Superman movie, Man of Steel, was really fantastic, and I'm really excited to see where they go with it. And aside from what other people think, I think it's a good thing they didn't do an after the credits scene, because that is just fully ripping off Marvel. Because Marvel sort of started that and started tying all their heroes together for Avengers, and they don't really need that. They can tie them together from within the actual movie. They don't need the extra scene after the credits. Just another way to set yourself apart. One of the biggest risks is DC being compared to what Marvel's doing, when really they shouldn't be. They're completely separate. The heroes are completely different. Marvel is all like mutants and stuff like that, and DC is like regular humans and aliens, and yeah. I really hope following this Superman movie that they come up with another Batman reboot, because they said that the Nolan Batman films, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, are all in a separate universe, so they're not related to the Superman movie at all. But they did say that Batman exists in this universe, the Man of Steel universe. You actually even saw in the Man of Steel, there's a point where they go up to space, and I think General Zod grabs a satellite and throws it at Superman, and on the satellite it says Wayne Enterprises, so we know he exists. I'd really like to see a Batman movie soon. Maybe something more akin to the Batman animated series Batman. A little bit more fun, not so serious, but not quite as silly or wacky as the earlier Tim Burton or, God forbid, Joel Schumacher movies. I would like to see Mark Hamill do the Joker, at least in voice form, because in my opinion, Mark Hamill did the best Joker. Heath Ledger was awesome, and he won an Academy Award for it because he was so awesome. But, I don't know, Mark Hamill just sticks with me. That laugh is just iconic. So here's how I hope it goes. We got Man of Steel, then I hope to come out with a Batman movie, then a World's Finest movie. And for those that don't know, World's Finest is the name of whenever Batman and Superman get together, they call it World's Finest. That was a terrible sentence, but you got it. After that, I hope they do like a Flash. And speaking of the Flash, I'm going to go back to Man of Steel for a second. Zod had his posse of people who were bad people, and Feora was the female that was there. She was kind of badass. But she had this cool effect, like whenever she was fighting, she was like zipping around, and it almost looked like she was teleporting because she was just sort of like there, like all of a sudden she's got a fist in someone's face. And it looked really cool. That sort of effect would probably be really effective for doing a Flash movie. Just a thought. After the Flash, I hope for King of Atlantis. I would call it King of Atlantis because it was like Man of Steel and World's Finest. And you could call the Flash, if you wanted to, the fastest man alive on Earth. What is it? Fastest man on Earth? Anyways, I think an Aquaman movie could be done really well. It obviously add some backstory in there. I don't think a lot of people know much about Aquaman, so you could really go back into Arthur Curry's past. I know they have a couple origin stories for him, so I guess you'd have to pick one and run with it. Hopefully not the wrong one. Then after that, I think they could do the Justice League. In the Justice League, you'd be introducing some other heroes. Wonder Woman, maybe Green Arrow, Green Lantern, which they did make a movie with Ryan Reynolds, and I mean, it's a superhero movie, so I liked it, but it wasn't great, and I think they probably should reboot it. I wouldn't be angry if they didn't, because I thought Ryan Reynolds was fine as the Green Lantern. It was just a badly written and put together movie, so not really his fault. But I guess if they want to set themselves away from that movie, they probably got to recast it, and that would be okay too. So Justice League, I guess, would be the end of the DC Phase 1 if we're going with the Marvel phases. After that, they could do another Green Lantern movie, obviously another Batman and another Superman. I'd like to see a Martian Manhunter movie, or John Jones. It could just be called John Jones. That'd be cool. And I feel like it would be kind of like noir, sort of a mystery. That'd be cool. A Wonder Woman movie and a Green Arrow movie. And I think Green Arrow should wait for a while because they do have the Green Arrow TV show. I think it's just called Arrow. I haven't seen it yet, but I imagine they're probably going to want to set themselves apart from that too. So I think I'm just going to rave a bit more about Man of Steel because it was so awesome. I really like what Zack Snyder brought to the table. He made Krypton so unique. Like, they have these floating little machine things, like I guess you have your personal robot sort of servant thing, but it's just like a floating computer, but it's all made of like tiny little metal pieces that can like float apart, and whenever you're talking to someone in like a video call or something, it's not like a video, it's like it forms their face out of these little metal pieces, which I thought was really neat. I like that it's sort of realistic in that that could just be nanotechnology that they put to use, if you want to call that realistic. Someday we'll have it. I really like that Superman's S symbol isn't actually an S. I'll let you watch the movie to figure out what it actually is, but I can tell you that it's actually a family crest from his Kryptonian family. And I like that you saw people on Krypton with their own family crests emblazoned on their clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought that was a really, really good idea, and it just made it feel so much more. It made more sense than, you know, just Martha Kent like stitching up a little S for like some tights and whatnot. That just that seems weird to me. I really liked the fight scenes in it. There's some great effects, and it worked really well, and it set itself apart from what Marvel had been doing. It just looked different, and even like what Snyder did with like camera angles and stuff like that. It's just like very, very different, sort of raw, but it was very Zack Snyder, but it definitely set itself apart from what Marvel has been doing. So I really appreciated that. Thank you, Zack Snyder. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there. This became a pretty long video already. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.